Hey guys, what's going on? Valky here, and today's video will be about GRas. Now, if you've logged into the game, cleared episode 6, you should see this very intrusive icon here talking about GRas. What this is going to do is lead you down a very long quest chain where you have to burn a lot of energy and also burn a lot of gear. But once you get through everything, you get this one absolute beast of a unit, GRas. Taking a look at his kit, if you look through all of his skills, skill 1 is just an attack, and it increases his combat readiness by 25%. Damage dealt increases to proportionate to the caster's max HP. That is 2 pieces of information we would do well to remember. Number 1, anytime a character gets combat readiness with their S1, they're a prime candidate for the counterattack set. Keep that in the back of your mind. And secondly, if their damage scales with their own max HP, then you want to all in and invest everything into their HP. His second skill does quite a bit. Order the skills are in is super important. So first, he applies seal, and then he folds the enemy in half. Basically, he just cuts their HP in half. It's a debuff for 2 turns, and then he attacks. So if your character has any amount of evasion or damage denial in their passive, like Empyrean or Empyrean Ilynav, he would first disable that, then folds your character in half, and then it hits. If he lands a critical hit, then it'll give him an extra turn, and of course, it scales with HP. And when you get your extra turn, you're going to want to use his skill 3, which attacks all enemies with divinity and penetrates the target's defense. This is just a flavor text, right? Because he's supposed to be Jesus. He penetrates all of the enemy's defense. Once again, scales with maximum HP. If there are fewer enemy, then damage dealt is increased. Now, this is a very important line. This means in a 4v4 setting, the moment 1 kill goes down, he absolutely will just demolish the rest of the 3 units, and he becomes way too much a problem to stop. And of course, some of you guys watching right now will be super sharp, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, but Guild War only has 3 characters, so if there are fewer enemies, yes, he is insanely OP in Guild War in almost all settings. He's like a default candidate that can melt a lot of Guild War. And of course, this is one of the things that make him very, very strong, his unique undispellable buff. So the first 5 turns of him existing, from the start of battle till he takes his 5th turn, or until he dies, he cannot be hit by any debuffs or some harmful effect, which include things like combat readiness manipulation. So he can't be pushed back, his cooldowns can't be reset, and he can't eat any debuff, which makes him a really safe carry. Remember that term, safe carry, that is going to be important later. And while he still have the buff, if you kill him, he will revive with full HP. So he's on 2 lives at all time, and he cannot be debuffed for the first 5 turns. All of this combined makes him an incredibly hefty threat to be dealt with. And if your opponent, or you rather, do not deal with him quickly enough, he will get out of control and he will start snowballing a match. The moment 1 kill goes down, and don't forget guys, extra turn doesn't mean you get to act again. It means all of your cooldowns goes down by another turn. His ultimate's originally 4 turns, and if he hits another extra turn, it goes even lower. So there's a lot of things working together that's going to be making him really strong. Let's take a look at his gear build. Now, this is what I would call the most standard gear build in probably all of the builds I've seen him being played. I've seen a few of the other builds. As far as a normal build goes, this is what I've seen. He is an extremely stat hungry unit because take a look at how many stats he needs. HP, crit damage, defense, and speed. Defense and speed are probably the last 2 stats, and you could run just a little bit to prop him up, but it really depends on what build you have him on. So for example, if you're on the destruction set build focusing on his damage output, then I highly recommend speed boots, because that way he doesn't have an additional way to generate his own turn, and turn manipulation characters like Maid and Lone Wolf Para can just get him up to his turn, and the more they work with him, the closer he is to his next rotation, to the next pop off. As we've covered, the moment he gets 1 kill, he will go insane. As far as his best in slot secondary set goes, because he's so immune to debuffs for the first 5 turns, the best in slot second set for him is going to be HP set. Not only does it make him tankier, but it just adds so much to his damage output, and it's just overall very comfortable. So if you have a high gear score HP set, this will be the character to put them on. If you're looking for alternative builds, I would say counter set is probably the second best, going to generate a lot of combat readiness with his S1 together whenever he gets a counter attack off, and it actually gives him potential to steal a lot of turns away from your opponent. Just the damage output is good as well. And of course, if you don't have any of those, I suppose you could always run a riposte set. Keep in mind, if you're running counter riposte, you probably want to run HP boots instead of speed boots, since those sets rely on alternative ways like the extra combat readiness from the S1 or from the revive to get them that turn. As far as artifact goes, I do believe his best in slot is a Precious Connection, which you should have gotten for free on your 7th anniversary login. So every single new player should have that. No reason not to run it. If you're watching this video somewhere past the 7th anniversary and you didn't get this free artifact, man, I actually don't know what to say. That would be tough. Then you just want to run any one of the stat sticks you have. Yeah, I guess if you didn't get this artifact, then for this build, you probably want to run something like Wings of Light and Shadow, and if you randomly got your hands on a copy, Mature Sunglasses, those would work, but it doesn't replace the utility of a Precious Connection that you would get for free. And if you're on a counter-attack build, then I think your best in slot is going to be Elber's Ritual Sword. That way your opponent cannot just ignore him. He would always have a chance to be able to pop off on the enemy team. Now that we've talked about the skill set and the build, let's see some gameplay. And while you're watching some of the gameplay here, I need to explain one very clear thing about GRas. Most of the footage you're going to see today are actually me playing against him. One very particular reason for that, and I think it is because he is extremely overhyped and overrated as a character. Now, does that mean GRas is bad? Absolutely not. GRas is a very strong character, but the issue is right now, because of how much work you have to put in to get him, and because how everybody's just like, whoa, he can seal, fold the character in half, and deal true damage, I'm gonna first pick him every game. And that's actually what happens a lot right now on ladder. A lot of people are picking him in the first pick slot and sometimes second pick slot, and I actually think that is punching a little above his weight class. If you know anything about how drafts work in RTA, it's not just about if you build one big strong guy, woo, I win. It's actually about, you build a lot of strong characters, but you have to put consistent and mechanically winning drafts and teams and builds around them, so you build a whole team that works together to seize that win. The problem with picking GRas too early is you're still exposing him to many of his weaknesses, including the immunity buff, any amount of defense penetration, like for example, the defense warfare rule basically makes him a not playable character. So in 75% of RTA matches, he's good, but sometimes 25% of the times, he's literally just not a real character. And of course, even though he's immune to debuffs and such, you can always just pick characters with injury like Urban Shadow Shu and Disciplinary Prefect Arya, who not only increases the cost of his soul burns, really denying him the high tempo he wants to play at, but also through a longer match, you're going to be fisting him over and over and over again, and all of that will put down a lot of injury on him, further decreasing his damage output potential, and just making it really hard for him to do what he wants and run his game plan. If you can manage to stall him out for all 5 turns, after that, you can just put all the crowd control on him. I mean, nobody's really building GRas with effect resistance that way. After the 5 turns, provoke him, stun him, hit him with venom, put him to sleep, it doesn't matter. He's going to be weak to every single one of them all.
This will hurt him. Who's the king of these streets? You're in for a surprise.
Zap! Bye! Oh, he lives. Never mind. I mean, you can combo me here, but Maid kind of reverses everything, right? And then you give me Ida.
Deliverance is inevitable.
First come, first serve.
There we go. Perfect. Now boss can just all in this. Ross is completely out of tempo.
And your fate.
Like the counters weren't even a problem. The lethal whispers was, dude. Holy
You'll
shit.
finally be free.
Maid lives. Huge. A cleanse 2. It cleanses the seal. It cleanses the collapse. Okay, this is fine. Dude, that lethal whispers proc is so stupid, man.
Trust me. A simple task.
I've been waiting for you.
Maid lives.
Just wait and see. Daring today, aren't we?
Daring today, aren't we? Don't care about that anymore. Shu goes. S3 goes. GG. Oh, he gets this back? Uh-oh. My dad? Does he get S3 here too? I gotta give it up to the boss, bro. That's the boss right there. Holy shit. Ah.
Take my power. Pay attention or you might regret it.
We're out here banning content? Exactly. You can't do that. That's committing cringe. I think what I could do is probably just go Blood Moon Haste, but I don't think Blood Moon Haste was good versus Scales. He puts up even more buffs. Okay.
Shall we end this?
That's actually kind of scary, I won't lie.
To belong in this world.
He just S3s here.
All I have
That did end up being pretty fucking scary. Holy.
You who deviated from the
Okay, so I cleanse first.
offer yourself to the equilibrium.
Consider this an honor.
Hit this.
Your attitude, how irreverent.
Skills S
Lowly
burns
creature.
here. Get a counter. Just counter him.
Dare.
Thank you.
I don't really enjoy
I was
this.
still standing. So, there's still filth to purge.
Strip every
Time
buff.
for your extinction.
I'ma leave you biting the dust.
Let my guard down. I'm still.
And not strip these. Pilfer stats. Fuck it. Who cares? I should have just pilfered off the Maid. Yeah.
Let my guard down. This body.
What cannot
Maid
be
has
avoided
2
must
turns,
be
minus 2 turn
overcome.
cooldown. So Maid has S3 again, guys. Don't be fooled by the souls here. Maid has S3 again.
First come, first serve.
Those who fear.
Push here.
Let me hear you cheer for me.
Ahmed combo is back. Oh, this is scary. I need the Renac to outspeed ASAP. He needs to just pass. He has to pass here.
Here I come.
Shit. I might be dead here.
I can do it.
I might be dead. There's a very good... Oh, good pilfer earlier. Good pilfer earlier. Holy shit. Okay, so he has S2, S3. I have to count these turns. I have soul burn. I have 1 soul burn. I have to hit this.
Trying to get away, are you? Can't outrun me.
I'm very close to losing here. I have to play this perfectly.
Someone needs to be made an example of.
Do this. Kill the Maid. Hold the Renac. It's the hand guy. That's fine.
Which of my powers would you like to see?
Hand guy push. I think I win here.
There's no
Ross has no more revives. He has reduced stats. My Eufiend still has Holy Sackful Bar. It's GG.
You have your chance to repent.
Okay, I can chill now.
Trust me.
I tried my best. Are you proud of me?
And as you guys can see, yes, this is a very strong unit. He definitely has his pop-off moments, but as are all units, they have some serious weaknesses, and I think in terms of his utility, he still has a little bit of an issue playing against some of the top tiers at the moment, like including Boss Arunka, Lady of the Scales, and honestly, now that she got buffed, even made Chloe and Commander Clorina, so he's definitely not an unbeatable unit, and I think the way most people play him is they pick him too early, and that's the issue. They pick him too early and they try to build around him. I get that, but I just think, you know, as opposed to trying to do that and teaching you guys how to do that suboptimally, if somebody takes a Ross early, just farm him for free low on the ladder. I think that way playing the game becomes a lot easier, and, you know, if your opponent starts drafting him in a more reasonable position, like on 3rd pick or later, I think then you also have the chance to build around him. As far as who he is the best with, I actually think he's the best with a ROM. Genesis Ross is an HP scaling bruiser that relies a lot on critical hit damage. You know, there's no attack buff for HP. You could give him crit damage buff, but that's really rare coming from supports, and it's actually one of the few reasons why Ahmed is incredibly strong with him. But outside of that, him going for a whole combo and then a ROM going, that's just a time-tested combo. Like, it hasn't existed for very long, but a top-end Guild War uses this combo all the time, and I see it used to great effectiveness. In terms of how he's played in RTA, I think as long as you avoid the defense warfare, he's in general a pretty solid unit as long as you can find a way around Empyrean Ilynav. And I think in terms of who he is the best with, if you want to play him as a build around character, build around him on third pick or later, especially if you're the second, third pick. That way your opponent doesn't have a lot of room to like pick Empyrean Ilynav against you, and if they do, you can just ban it. If you want to pick him earlier because he's one of the few top tier characters you have, then my advice would be to get other I don't know, like debuff characters to play around him, because the way he works is he counters all debuff characters by default. So that way, when you pick him up early, your opponent's going to be thinking, okay, I need to tank down with things like Bossarunka, Empyrean Ilynav, Maid Chloe, in which case they're just ripe for the pickings if you start spraying characters like Witch of the Mere Tenebria, New Moon Luna, and maybe even like a Knock Wool on them. Death Dealer Ray is certainly good there. Even though he doesn't have any natural synergy with debuff units, what you're looking for your opponents to do in RTA is you pick them to fake out your opponent, and then you swing a pivot to play control, and he becomes the anchor for your entire control composition. Just make sure you have to ban that bystander Hua Young come pick 4 or 5, because not only does she beat control units, she also beat GRas, but I don't think there's a second character in the game that has that exact matchup spread. Anyways, that being said, guys, that is going to be this video. I hope it was informative, and I hope it was insightful. I know a lot of people have been asking me to make a GRas video, and I feel like it's just really hard for me to do because I think the best way to play him is not very viable right now, because everybody is just picking him first pick, second pick, first pick, second pick. There's just no way for my playstyle to let GRas really stretch his wings, but thankfully there's a good amount of clips I have where my opponents take him and either I make him look completely like a joke or he just absolutely pops off, and it's a perfect showcase for his strength. So with that said, that's the video. If you liked it or you thought it was helpful or entertaining, make sure to give the video a like, subscribe, comment down below if you want to see videos similar to this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See ya.